So you're reading energy first, which is where the depletion comes in, because over reading all the time brings you to a place of lack, brings us to a place of, I am not enough. I have to put on even bigger, even better. We talked about this when you were away, like even like mascara, like don't put on mascara when you were on vacation,
right?
Like let your hair down, like let yourself go. And you were like, that's not even something I've ever done. Yeah. Like to do that for yourself. And I'm like, but it's so freeing to like not to perform in a role.
Right, part of the thing that I picked up when I was really young was people were happier if I looked pretty. So I just think, okay, if it's gonna make things this much easier, like navigating the world today, if I look nice, like, okay, Jeannie, I didn't leave the house. Like I was 11 years old when I started wearing mascara. Okay, 11 years old.
That's so young.
It's so young. And I would say it wasn't until like far into pandemic that I started just going out with makeup sometimes. And actually when I flew to California for that retreat we met at, I was barefaced the whole trip there. And it became what was supposed to be just like a 4-hour flight became like a 20-hour like endeavor across the whole country. I met all these people all over the country. Okay. But, and then on the way home, I wore makeup because I was like, I don't know if I'm up for that vulnerability.
Ooh, right.
And Jeannie, I left the hotel at like 3 a.m. And I think I put mascara on at like 3 a.m.
3 a.m, right.
So the Angel Healer training is starting on October 4th, and I am like literally over the moon with all of the yumminess that my team and I have poured into this year's experience. It's gotten a beautiful upgrade with 6 virtual training sessions before the 3-day immersive, which is in person, and it's a retreat style experience where you will expand your energy in a way that you have never experienced before. So look, if you are ready to step into the life that you've been wanting to have, that you've been waiting to have for someday in the future when things seem to line up, I'm going to tell you something. God loves you here and now. He loves you now. You do not have to wait for things to line up or something to change for you to experience what you want to experience in this life, what you are ready to experience in this life. So it's a yes, God, yes. This is what it is. So I hope you join me for the Angel Healer training. And if you're ready to step in and you're not sure about it, check out my Abundantly You, which is amazing, next week, which is September the 19th on Facebook inside my private Angels Don't Lie group. We'll put the link below. You can join this free experience a week long. I'm going to be going live every single day, Monday through Friday, with some yummy nuggets for you to start claiming your abundant self now. So today's podcast, I'm so excited, really, really, really excited for you to meet my friend Ashleigh Renard. And Ashleigh is one of those amazing women who I met just from saying, yes, God, yes, to something that was pretty darn scary for me. And I'm really excited to share this conversation that we got to lean in with. And it actually was this idea I had to help another entrepreneur, to help this amazing soul to lean into their work even more, to do an on-air angel reading with them. And so with Ashleigh's session, not only is it an interview, but I also got to dive in and go into places where I could help her to get unstuck, because we can't always see what we need to do. We need support system from our angels, from the heavenly realm, in order to tap into our highest and best self. So enjoy this episode with Ashleigh Renard. I know you're going to love it because she's a little spitfire.
When she smiles at you, she'll say, angels don't lie. Angels don't lie. Angels don't lie.
Hello, Ashleigh. I'm so excited to see you and have you here.
Oh, Jeannie, anytime I get to spend with you is such a gift. So thank you for having me here.
Yes, I'm thrilled. So let's just start by introducing everyone to who you are, the amazing Ashleigh Renard. And just let's tell them like who you are in this world as a person, and then like what you're doing to show up to make our planet better.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jeannie. All right. I'm Ashleigh Renard. I grew up in a small town in Manitoba, and for 23 years, I was a figure skating coach and choreographer, synchronized skating specifically. Okay. So the only team discipline of skating, and the most obscure, like the only discipline that doesn't go to the Olympics. Okay. Dedicated my life to that, Jeannie. I moved to the US right after college, and I met my husband, and then I started Philadelphia's first synchronized skating program, grew it to one of the biggest in the world. Everything was so lovely on the outside. So I think your listeners know where we're going now. Everything was so lovely looking on the outside, and on the inside, I felt really lonely and really sad and really ashamed that I wasn't more grateful for my beautiful looking life. And the privilege that I have and the blessings that I have. And that just made me feel more isolated and more ashamed. I thought, why can't you just be more grateful? I kept reaching for the highest level of difficulty in everything that I did. You know, I don't know if figure skating made me that way, or I was attracted to skating because of that. But there's something really, really long lasting about spending 6 days a week for decades on the ice. And, you know, we're in an environment that's not very welcoming, right? It's freezing. The blades are very sharp. You know, I have about 17 scars on my left leg to show for that, like misplaced free foot on jumps and like slicing my skin.
Ow.
Yeah. So it's not just about falling and getting back up. It's like, okay, how badly am I bleeding? Like, do I actually have to leave the ice, or can I like stay and like get in, 45 more minutes before the Zamboni comes out? So, really living in a way where if I could ignore my body when it told me to stop, if I could ignore my brain when it would say, hey, maybe not today, that's how I moved forward in that sport. And that's how I got acclaim from coaches for working hard. That's how when the judges said, yeah, she's doing well, she's really improved. So for decades, I trained myself to ignore anything that my body or my mind or my heart was telling me. Like, really, the game was to outsmart or push past what my body was saying it needed or wanted, and then to up the ante the next day.
Right. So perfectionism, right? Like to
the max.
Yeah. And I think that I think a lot of people can really lean into that, because, when you have a drive that's put into you, it's not even really your own. Right. And you're then having to kind of act your life. You're setting into like really lean in, like, okay, I've got to do this really good because I have to make the people, the parents, the coaches, whoever's around really happy. And if I'm not putting my best in, then what's going to happen, right? What was the down source for you? Like, what happened if you didn't put your best in?
Okay. So that is such a good question. That's such a good question. And that kind of relates to something that came up this morning. It's my kid's first day of school today. Okay. And for the first time, I have 3 kids in 3 different schools. I have elementary, middle school, and a high school, a freshman. And
that's such an emotional thing.
Well, I mean, I was just like, yay, September, or yay, school. And then this morning was emotional. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, Jeannie, what would happen if I wasn't performing, if I wasn't reaching for that highest level of difficulty, if I wasn't doing that, and if I wasn't making it look effortless and beautiful? Because that was the thing too. I had to act like I got it right the first time. Because anything I tried for the first time, if I wasn't good at it, my parents were like, wait, what? What's wrong with you? Like, I thought you'd be better at that.
Wow. Right.
So, and honestly, they maybe just said that once, but then it's like they dangled a carrot in front of me one time, and then I just
Yes.
continued dangling carrots forever. And they were like, where's she going? I don't know. It's not about really what conditioning I got. It's like the conditioning that I can see and I still hold on to now.
That is it right there. I love that you just said that, because that's the juicy nugget. Like, I was doing a lot of work with this hypnotherapist for a long time. I love her. She's amazing. And she said, you know, what they have found about trauma and about things that have happened in your life, past experiences, is that in the moment, it is one thing, but the minute you move past it, the energy within you starts to take it, you know, and dissect it. And all of a sudden it's not the same thing. And so a little bit further down the line, it starts to grow. She says, it's like the game of telephone, you know, you sit in a circle and then you pass the secret around. And by the time it gets back, it doesn't resemble the message at all. She said, that's how it is for those experiences. They're not the same, because the fear ego mind takes it and just has a field day and assigns meaning to it because of how you feel internally.
Oh my God. Okay. You just perfectly described my morning. Okay. Do you want me to get into that, Jeannie, or do you want me to tell your audience a little bit more about what I do in the world now? Because
we can circle back. So
okay.
Our day is all about like tapping in. The whole reason I wanted to have you on was to tap into, here you are, you know, serving people, right? You're a high achiever, and you're a real person. You're real. And I think we forget that when we look at women in business, and we start to look at, you know, who we are, and you start to step into like that healer role of how I'm going to support other people. We're going to do this. And then like, wait, you don't belong there.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so
you can't,
right.
So much. There's so
right.
much here.
The clarity. Okay. So I left figure skating, retired from that, my life on the ice in 2019 to focus on my writing. My dream ever since I was like 9 years old was to be an author. And I devoured books as a kid. I was reading like, you know, 5 to 7 books at a time over, like, I would walk with a book. I'd pee with a book. I'd read, I'd like, you know, be at the dinner table with a book, fall asleep with, like, that was it. But figure skating is a way of taking over a life, kind of like a forest fire, you know, like leaving few resources and little attention for anything else. And then, you know, you look up a little while later and you're like, oh my God, yeah, that's all I've been focused on in my whole life. So I started writing I tried to write 5 books, but the book that wanted to come out was persistent. And so that book is my debut. It's called Swing. Within 12 months, I had offers from 2 literary agents, signed with one. That experience was incredibly underwhelming after doing everything myself. And Jeannie, for a couple of decades, recruiting kids for a sport that most people don't even know exists. Okay. Synchronized skating. So having someone else pitch my creative work was just really uncomfortable for me. On the eve of my 40th birthday, I broke up with that agent, and as a gift to myself. And I had 45 days where I couldn't contact any other agents per the contract. And I had some emails prepped, and I said, okay, middle of November, because my birthday is September 30th, middle of November, I'm going to send out these emails to these other agents. Okay. Whew. All right. So for these 45 days, I got like no pressure. Like, agents aren't going to be looking at my social media, neither are publishers or editors. All right. Okay. I could just post something that's fun. I've been trying so hard to build my socials, Jeannie, even before I left skating, trying so hard to get my writing out there. And I was growing at about 500 Instagram followers a year. Okay. So I had about 2,000 followers at this time. And a friend of mine who's also a psychic, which is like so convenient when friends are psychic, right? Like, I love her even if she wasn't, but like it's a real benefit. She said, listen, remember that advice you gave about keeping it spicy in the bedroom? I made like one little story about it about 9 or 12 months before. She goes, that's the best advice I ever heard. Like, it has changed my marriage, and I've told so many other people. Like, you need to put that on YouTube or something. Okay. And I was like, do people really want to hear that? Okay. I was like feeling a little playful, a little curious after I broke up with my agent, because I was like, oh my God, this is like freedom. I could actually just post what I want right now, without hoping the next thing I post will go viral, or hoping the next thing I post won't blacklist me forever and no one will ever want to work with me. Okay. So I made this video called How to Keep Monogamy Hot, Part 1. I didn't even know what Part 2 was going to be. I just wanted to put myself on the hook to make a second video. This was right when Instagram introduced Reels, right? Like fall of 2020. Okay. And my advice was choose what time of day you'd like to do it. In our house, nighttimes are for sleeping and mornings are for coffee. So I like to have sex at 5:30 p.m. if we're going to do it, because those other times, like those things are sacred things for me. Sleep and coffee, like it's not happening then, because I got this idea that people were just like going to bed and like wondering, okay, is it going to happen tonight? Is it not? And oh my God, that kind of uncertainty, and we'll probably get into this later in the call, JD, that kind of uncertainty and not being able to anticipate what's going to happen in a situation is really uncomfortable for me. Like I like to have clear understanding of what the agreement is.
Okay. Yeah.
So 5:30 p.m. Okay, Jeannie, I posted this video. In the next 45 days, my audience grew by 55,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. On Instagram, on TikTok. I had 5 followers on TikTok when I posted that video, 2 of my kids and 3 of their friends. They were all pity follows. They don't follow me anymore. But yeah, things just exploded. And I thought, and I started getting hundreds of DMs a day from people going, oh my God, this is so helpful. This is so helpful. And I was like, oh, these things aren't obvious to everybody. Okay. And I think that that's one of the hardest things when you're being a leader and you're really striving to serve and to reach people. It's so hard to tell what would really be such a gift to them, because we think that's obvious. That's not that special. That's easy for me. You know, like, see how I'm leaning back. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, you really doubt yourself in so many ways. So the end of those 45 days, I thought to myself, I don't think I want an agent. I don't think so.
So let's stay here for one hot second.
Yeah.
And we'll go a little further. I kind of just love what you just said, because it's the juicy nugget, which is we're in our head where we think I have to do it this way. We think we know what people want, because we're leaning in and criticizing that it's not enough. I'm not enough value. This isn't enough for anyone to take away, to put into use. So we can't see that we can't see the golden nugget.
Absolutely. How could this thing that's on the tip of my tongue, that's so easy for me to say, that my heart just explodes like, oh, blah, 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 I'd love to tell you that. How could that be the thing that's valuable in this world? Isn't it going to be something that's harder? Isn't it going to be something that I have to dig deeper to do, or study with someone else, or, right? We can like fill in that blanket so many different ways. And I started my own media company, my own publishing imprint, self-published swing. It outsold 5 books on the New York Times nonfiction paperback list its first week. It didn't make the list, because I don't know if your listeners know this, but the New York Times bestseller list is actually a curated list. So rather than like the top sellers of the week, it's like the most influential books of the week, according to, you know, their staff who choose it. So for a new author, they're probably going to have to outsell the number 1 title by double to have a chance to get on the list for the first time. So that has been incredible and such a journey. And that book is about how I took doing it all to the next level as the world's worst attempted swinger. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm homeschooling. This is before pandemic.
The world's worst.
Yeah. So I was running my figure skating organization. I just tripled it in 1 year. It was like now one of the biggest in the world. I was homesteading. I was homeschooling. This is before pandemic, homeschooling on purpose. And then I thought, oh, you know what would be the next highest level of difficulty in my marriage? What if we practice non-monogamy? What if my like husband had a girlfriend and like, well, I felt like it was like would be more evolved or something, JD. And very quickly, it was like the house of cards started to fall. Things were imploding so quickly. So the book is funny and sexy, but the real story is underneath. But isn't that the truth? Like about always. Everything? Yeah, about everything. About everything. There's like the surface like things that are playing out, but then underneath, and so many couples are reading, thousands of couples are reading it together, monogamous couples reading it together, because I went so deep and so raw in it. Because honestly, Jeannie, I was fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
Of just making everything look effortless and beautiful, even though that's what I was trained to do. And then I trained other people to do that for 23 years. I was like, what if I tell this story and go, and it was a train wreck and a shit show, and this is how dark it felt. Right. Look at this. And the fact was, I had gotten to a much different place with my relationship with myself. And that's what actually created an opportunity for my marriage to change, because it did. It completely changed in such an incredible way. It's like
you guys just celebrated your 17th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Yes, our 17th wedding anniversary yesterday. Yep. We did. And really, our relationship is better than ever. It's not like back when we were dating. We are like, we are such wiser, better, wholer versions of ourselves now. And to be in partnership like that, to really be in partnership, is such an incredible gift. And I want that for more people.
Yes.
So I make content for relationships, for cooperation. A lot of them are sexy. I make videos that are sexy, and all anybody wants to talk about in my DMs are feelings. And 80% of my DMs are from men, hundreds of DMs a day. And it's been fascinating. It has been fascinating just creating this community in this container where people come to have like honest, kind of awkward conversations, and not take ourselves too seriously, because that's the thing. Being a straight A student, oldest child, class president, figure skater, blah, 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 Jeannie.
Micromanager. I'll throw in there micromanager of energy.
Micromanager of energy. That's
she's energy sensitive, like without a doubt. So let me lean in a teeny bit. So one of the things that Ashleigh and I just met in the beginning of August, and we met at a retreat we both attended in California. Maybe you guys saw the Instagram reels. If you haven't, head on over there. A lot of fun, along with a couple other beautiful women. And we fell into this amazing, like, soul connection. Like, God put us in the same place we were meant to be together. It's like we've known each other our whole lives. And even before that, it just makes no sense on the outside how quickly we all fell in. So one of the things I wanted to do was I really wanted to lean in with being able to share my gift with amazing women who are crushing it in a way that they're still missing. There's still part of them that is sad. There's still part of them that is a little bit untapped potential because of whatever conditioning, pain, suffer, whatever is still kind of in the front, the stuff, because it's what I zero in. I can go in there. And you being this sensitive soul, which I don't even know if you truly realize how amazing you are in the your ability to feel energy, but then also to line things up.
So it's so interesting, Jeannie, because I really didn't know I was a sensitive person until a few years ago. Like, it probably actually when my marriage was crumbling, imploding, I'm like, oh my God, my whole life is a lie. Not quite, but it felt that way. That's when I realized, oh, wow, I am actually more emotional than I thought. I am needier than I thought. Listen, I always thought that independence was the greatest gift a child could give to their parents, to not be a burden on them, like to be as little of a burden on them as possible, as quickly as possible, was like the way to be a good kid, I thought. So right. Anything about me that seemed childish, I abhorred, hated it, Jeannie, anything. So if I needed help with something, if I needed somebody to show me how to do something, if I needed to be cared for, Oh, I pushed those things down so far and so hard. Like it's almost like they created like a diamond that's like just like crystallized for like I pushed them down so hard. And then it was like just these little pieces, these little moments of willingness out of desperation and pain to go, wait a minute. What if I pulled that need up and I looked at it? And what if I thought, okay, like just really what are you telling me, or what are you asking for? And what if I just gave that a little bit? I couldn't even do love yet, Jeannie. It was just like some curiosity. What if I just gave it some curiosity? Because I hated it about myself. But I said, like, okay, let's just take another look. Or let's take a look for the first time instead of just pushing it down when like those little voices or those little feelings come up. And I started just going, okay, well, what was that little feeling? Okay, come here. I'm going to sit you right here on the dryer because I'm in the laundry room when you're trying to whisper something to me. Okay, what was it? What was it that you were trying to tell me? Oh, okay, that's interesting. You know, whatever, just these snide, just one-liners, like really, really sharp digging things that were, my subconscious was like whispering to me all day, right? And I was just like, wait a minute, I don't know if that's true. And it's very mean. Like one of the first ones was, nobody's going to like you if they get to know you. Like nobody. And I was like, fuck. Because I always make a good first impression, Jeannie.
Right.
I love people. And you were the first one to point it out. I'm a micromanager of energy. So I walk into a room and immediately I know how everybody would like me to act. Oh, and it's everyone's different, but I know how every single person would like me to perform being human for them when I'm in their proximity or speaking to them, so they feel more at ease.
Okay. So right there, whoa. This is like the big thing, right? Like you are conditioned to go in, to read the room, and then to make them happy.
Everybody.
According to their energy. So you're reading energy first, which is where the depletion comes in, because overreading all the time brings you to a place of lack, brings us to a place of, I am not enough. I have to put on even bigger, even better. I have to, we talked about this when you were away, like even like mascara, like don't put on mascara when you were on vacation,
right?
Like let your hair down, like let yourself go. And you were like, that's not even something I've ever done. Yeah. Like to do that for yourself. And I'm like, but it's so freeing to like not to perform in a role.
Right. Part of the thing that I picked up when I was really young was people were happier if I looked pretty. So I just think, okay, if it's going to make things this much easier, like navigating the world today, if I look nice, like, okay, Jeannie, I didn't leave the house. Like I was 11 years old when I started wearing mascara. Okay. 11 years old.
That's so young.
It's so young. And I would say it wasn't until like far into pandemic that I started just going out with makeup sometimes. And actually when I flew to California, and some of your listeners would be like, makeup, what the fuck? Okay. Everybody's got their makeup. Everybody's got their mask in some sort of way, right? Makeup is one of the ways for me because I like it and it's easy and it makes an impact in how people react to me. When I flew to California for that retreat we met at, I was barefaced the whole trip there. And it became what was supposed to be just like a 4-hour flight became like a 20-hour like endeavor across the whole country. I met all these people all over the country. Okay. But that was just, it's actually, and then on the way home, I wore makeup because I was like, I don't know if I'm up for that vulnerability.
Ooh, right.
And Jeannie, I left the hotel at like 3 a.m. And I think I put mascara on at like 3 a.m.
3 a.m, right.
Right. And I used to have skating practices at like 5, 6 a.m. sometimes like across the country. Always. My skaters never saw me without makeup once. Not in like 20.
So when we're on all the time, and that's just your way. Other people do it with other ways, right? So if they're not busy, they don't have something to do, you know, they find themselves being busy, you know, on their computer doing nothing. But we all, like you said, we all have our type of mask. So if we were going to dive in, like, to you and your business, and to you as this leader, the one thing people read is energy, because how you make them feel is going to be bigger and brighter than what you say, right?
Yeah.
How you make them feel. So if they can't, if they're feeling like they can't get to you because there's all this perfectionism, so the space between you and your joy is filled then with perfectionism, is filled with control, right? So if we look at energy, we like, I have this thing that angels taught me, which is really a lot of fun. You like it. So, you know, when you have toast and you're like, all right, let me get some butter, and you grab the butter from the refrigerator, but the butter is hard, and you go to spread it on the toast, and this toast and it all starts to break apart, and you're like, but if you have butter that's been out on the counter, they're soft. It still has form, but it's soft. And then it spreads on your toast, and it just goes into all those nooks and crannies, and now it's delicious, and your toast is hot, and you're so happy. We want to be like counter butter in our energy. We want to be like, we want to have form. We don't want to be mushy and melted like we're nothing, but we also want to be in the flow where we're allowing and easeful. And so for you, like, I love you, like, equating that, like, how can I soften even more? How can I soften? How can I allow them to come in? Because it's kind of like reverse engineering, like you having to read the room and go where they want you to go. It's you allowing them to come to you where they need to go.
Yes. Okay. And this is easier for me on social media than it is in real life.
Let's talk about why?
Okay. So I show up on my stories without makeup on, like, every day, and people watch through longer if I'm not wearing makeup. Definitely. Okay.
Isn't that a huge thing right there? Bing, bing, bing. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I feel more of an obligation to people I know in real life, gee, oh my God, to look nice. Like, it's even like, I wake up in the morning, and yesterday I had these braids, like French braids, in from the day before we went to an amusement park, and I slept in them, and they were all a mess. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get up and start my day, which is like, I think how some people start every day. But often I will look in the mirror and go, okay, I have like this clip in my hair back or whatever. And I say to myself, it really would be nice to Manny, my husband, Jeannie, who I've been together for 20 years now, if I looked a little nicer when I walked out of this bedroom. Okay. And I've told him that before, and he's like, what planet are you on? Because, like, babe, I like you. We like each other. Like, we established that like a long time ago, and then we reestablished that when our marriage really shifted. But yeah, that if I can do that little bit to make someone else feel happier or more comfortable, that I should, Jeannie. If I don't, I don't even know what happens, Jeannie. It's just this, like, sort of like, feels like a hole. I don't know if it feels like a hole I could step in, and just, I don't know where it goes.
So I love that you said that. So in our aura, so in our body lands all of the emotions, the emotional wounds that we have from the conditioning, the belief system, all of the stuff that happens, the fear that takes over and takes that one little thing, that one little moment of conditioning, and just makes it into this huge thing. And then here's this emotional wound. Then in our auric field, that becomes the place where we have a hole where we start leaking those emotions out into the world. And that's why we want to micromanage. We don't want people to come in and hurt those wounds. We don't want to feel that same type of feeling. So we get really great at manipulating energy so we don't have to feel the pain, because we don't like those feelings. But what we both experience, and everyone experiences when they step into their journey of healing, is once you start to feel things that you haven't been holding in for a very long time, all of a sudden there's an opening. and it's not scary anymore. And it's a healing, because once you feel, you heal. So this has been the awakening, this evolving of your energy, where you have felt safe and you have grown, and you have, like, there's all of these miracle moments that have been healed, but still there's these emotional wounds. Still, we feel like when we have holes in our aura and we have all of this stuff living there, it's vulnerable and it's uncomfortable. But it also is it's kind of a cool thing, because you've gotten so good at, like, knowing how other people feel and, like, how to serve them.
Yes.
So if we flip the switch on it a little bit, meaning you're not manipulating the energy, rather you're holding it, and now you're bringing it to God, and you're, like, pausing and writing, like, I'm getting this, I'm feeling this, it will heal that auric field, and you'll be able to do your job, which God has called you, which is all those desires that you have. He's called you to do this, and use your gift, use it for the greater good, to lead people back to him, to impart that love. Now it becomes about the we instead of about the I. Now you're serving the we, which is that's the yumminess, not the control, not the, trying to micromanage so I'm safe, but it's about the we. Like, let me use this emotion. And it's why your book did so well, because it was about the we. You allowed people in so they could feel, and you knew that it was going to help. You knew it was going to serve. And when you do your videos, it's going to serve. It's going to serve.
Yeah.
And if we just keep the mindset on that, then the other part's going to start to dissipate. It's going to start to heal, like all the stuff you've already been healing.
Yes. And oh my gosh, I loved when you said it's about the we, because I mean, okay, I've been a team player my whole life, right? I picked the only team version of the sport that I loved. Okay. But as you said, the we, I'm like, the paradigm I've operated within is, okay, if I can get all of them like stable, like, right, then finally I can use some energy for myself. So I've done this in so many codependent ways, like with my family, with my skater, with, and I'm just like, okay, I can handle a lot of balls in the air. And I'm like, if I get all of them like at the right place, then I can turn my energy to me. But like that never really happened.
And it can never happen. Like, your true desire, the desires of your heart, which are so pure because God has given them to you. There's a beautiful postcard visions. They are, and they have no emotion. They have no drama to them. But see, the little you is still on board, performing, keeping up with what she needs to do in order to get how she feels safe, which is, if I'm getting the A's, if I'm doing a good job, if I'm getting, like, those are the accolades. It's not even about the fucking money. It's not even about anything else. It's like, you just want to be loved and liked.
I just want to be loved. And this brings me to the thing that happened this morning that made me like, it wasn't just like a hole. I sort of like tripped off a cliff and I was like spinning, and my husband's like, babe. Okay. So my oldest
get in the boat.
He's like, hey, come here. It's like trying to like grab the string that like I'm holding a kite and whatever, in distress. Okay. So our kids leave for school at 3 different times. The high schooler goes first, then the middle schooler, then our little one who's at elementary. Okay. So I got up first with Jack, our oldest, and I was in the kitchen with him, helping him he was making his breakfast and making his lunch, and put his lunch in this, insulated like lunch bag, and went to school. Okay. My husband, Manny, drove him to school. And then Luke, our second, comes downstairs and he opens the fridge and he goes, what happened to my lunch? And I was like, what? And then he goes to the top shelf and he sees like the items that he put together for his lunch. And he goes, did Jack take my lunch bag? Okay. The 13-year-old made his lunch last night and put it in a lunch bag and had it in the fridge ready to go.
Right.
And the 15-year-old couldn't find one, and he took that and put his own lunch in it and went to school. Okay. I called my husband. They were still on their way to school. And I said, listen, you're going to have to retrieve Luke's lunch bag from Jack, and he can just have his Ziploc bag sandwich squished in his bag, whatever. And ask him, like, what the hell? Okay. So Jeannie, this is a dumb thing for a kid to do, right? Okay. Immediately I go to, oh my God, I have narcissism and borderline personality disorder in my family for 3 generations. It comes out in early adulthood. This kid just turned 15 2 days ago. I'm like, Jeannie, I went to, oh my God, my kid is going to have these mental health struggles that then rip our family apart. And this is all I've got, Jeannie. All I know, in those kinds of scenarios are play nice and let that person just manipulate everybody and everything, and just play nice, walk on eggshells around them, or to cut them off completely. Those are the only 2 things I know. So when I was in the bathroom this morning, like doing my makeup, getting ready for my call with you, I was like, oh my God, am I going to have to make this choice about my child? Oh my, like I went there in so much fear, Jeannie, over a fucking lunch bag,
which is just such a typical kid thing because, and so here's the funny, like, I love that. I love that you kind of went there, because it just tells us a story, right? How fear zips in. And I always say, like, the stakes are really high with healers, with people who are sensitive, because they're meant to serve a greater audience. They're meant to serve love. And so evil knows this. Evil doesn't want you to have anything that looks like love, because then you're going to share it. And if you're going to share it, then that means God is present, and like evil wants to cut that out. And so that's what fear's job is. Let me bring you to the darkness. But we know that mental illness can come on. It's not always chemical imbalance. It comes on in energy sensitive people, because they learn that manipulation is safe. They learn all of this stuff. And so we learn to meditate. We learn to shift our frequency. We learn to pour into love and into our relationship with God. And all of a sudden the signal we send from within starts to change the outside world. So your kid is simply doing a kid thing. Taking his brother's lunch bag is definitely a kid's own thing. Like when they turn teenagers, they become stupid. I always say this, like, I love this.
Okay. Thank you for saying this. You're like, this is just a kid thing. I was like,
it's a kid thing.
Oh my God. Cause listen.
How about when they were little, when they were even younger? I mean, did you like have this like scenario
so,
like they were gonna be like horrible?
There have been a few things that have happened with him. I think now that he's older, I'm like, oh my God. Okay. It's not because he just turned 15 the day before our anniversary. Okay. So, all right, let me think about this. There was this one time that he hid his he pulled half of the tests and assignments out of his like sign and return folder, okay. So our kids in our school district, they have to bring home a folder like once a week or every couple of weeks. And like you flip through the work they've done, you sign that like you saw it. Okay. And he gave it to me one day. He was like in 4th grade and he handed it to me, and it felt a little light, Jeannie, but I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not micromanaging these teachers, because I used to homeschool, and I'm just very grateful that I outsourced that so they can do whatever they want. And then about 30 minutes after I signed it, I looked over on the couch and I saw these papers like sticking out of the throw pillows. Okay, so I went and I got them. And Jeannie, I was on fire. I was like, oh my God, is this a sign of a sociopath? Oh my God. and my husband, man, he was like, I did this shit all the time. And I'm like, and you're a good guy. This is so weird. I always thought as a kid, like if I did anything wrong, like literally, oh, now I see that hole in front of me. Jeannie. I thought the earth would like open up and swallow me whole. Like I thought like,
because you wouldn't dare have done anything wrong, because when I
did things wrong by accident and got in trouble, oh my God, the pain I felt when my
Right.
parents were mad at me when I did something even unintentional. Like it was just excruciating. Like
So the
first,
sensitive soul, right, it feels so responsible, like I have to be good all of the time. And so
ugh.
here's your kid being a normal fucking kid and being like, as they grow, they get stupid. I'm just going to tell you this as a mom of 4 grown children. As they come into teenage, they start to need to eat a lot, their bodies are growing, and they can't really think. They just get dumb. It's hilarious. They can get straight A's and they're just like literally like just stupid. Like they're tripping over themselves and they're like, what? Probably didn't even think of the lunch bag. He probably just thought it was empty and just like in a sleep coma and lack of food and sugar in his brain. He's like, I just there's a bag. And whatever, he took it. And so but you being so energy sensitive is like, oh, the worst case scenario, right? And you would
I
never
can't keep this family together. This is impossible. Oh my God. Do over, reset. Yeah, I went, okay, that is so funny, Jeannie, because I was like, that's not just something you do, that's mean. I was just like,
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Luke, our 13-year-old. And I just felt
responsible to make it better for him, to get his lunch
to make
bag
it better
back.
for him. And then to say, what? Oh, Jeannie. Oh my gosh.
It
Because
runs
I
deep, girl.
I cannot fathom. And then this is the thing that Jack will do when he's caught in something like this, that he'll like play it off like he didn't really know or like something, right? Like you just said.
And isn't it quite possible that he's just going through that growth, that he really is just like oblivious?
Okay. So here's the thing that's hard for me with my oldest. And because for my 13-year-old and my 9-year-old, when they have trouble doing something, because like it's just out of like, my 9-year-old can explain white privilege to you like so much better than most adults. Like every time he talks about it, I'm like, oh, that's like a nuance that I didn't even realize. Wow. Like big picture, like injustice, equity. Like he's just, Jeannie, if he reaches into a laundry basket, he has no idea what clothes are his. He just can't tell. Like he can't tell if these are his shorts or Luke's shorts, like no idea. Okay. Doesn't matter if we told him, no clue. Every time my second and my third just come up against like struggles with like, I just don't get that yet. I have so much compassion.
And so like, look at what's happening. It's unconscious, right? Like
yeah,
you were a perfectionist and you want, not even, you don't want it, but you're conditioned to think like, get straight A's, do the right thing, be the good person, don't go out of the lines, don't color out of the lines, don't mess up. If you're going to mess up, you better own it, and you better own everything along with it. Under the sun, everything is. And so now it's just like you shifting your energy. And see, we think it's about the outside, like the business and where we're going to, the destination, but it is not. It is literally about, I love when women get together and we're rattling off the resume, right? How many times have you met someone? You're like, oh my gosh, what do you do? And they like listing all off. And they're not really listing off who they are as a soul. We're not listing off I'm leaning into like spreading as much love as I possibly can in my family. And I'm leaning into like healing the generational wounds that have come in with me. And I'm going to facilitate that by showing up in every single relationship, from my being a mother, being like in the different areas that I can.
Yeah.
And the extension is then I get to share it with an audience that God brings to me. But our focus is on some sort of outcome on the outside that seems so far away. Like if I just get there, I'll be happy.
Yes.
And then we're like, wait, then our children and everything is separate, but it all has supposed to be the same. It's supposed to be like, this is the life. This is all together. This is you showing up in the same way with your audience and showing up with your children really intimate, like, oh, that feels good and yummy to let Jack off the hook. And like to remember like growing.
Okay, we got to pause there for a sec. Wait, Feels good and yummy to let him off the hook. Okay, we got to pause there for a sec.
Mm. Yeah. Does it feel good and yummy to let the kid off the hook?
Okay.
It's his senior year, you said?
No, he's
Or
he's
first
a freshman.
Okay.
First day of high school.
And these 4 years, take it from me, they are the fastest 4 years ever. Like up until now, it's been like a trudge. But
and then this is going to fly. Okay.
This is going to fly because they're going to learn to drive. They're going to go to their prom. They're going to fall in love. Like all of the first are going to happen.
Okay. So, letting Jack off the hook does not feel juicy. This is what it feels like right now.
Good. Go.
Okay. Let me just feel into this. This is what it feels like. Oh, Jeannie. Okay. So grateful we're talking today. All right. Just going along and loving someone and supporting them anyway was so tied with codependency because I did that in really abusive relationships. So the trust that I have for myself to be able to be discerning and not just like, okay, this is what I'm so scared of unconditional love, Jeannie. I'm so scared of unconditional love because what if one of my kids does something to hurt my other kids? Isn't it my job to stop that?
Okay. So unconditional love means there's no strings attached. Unconditional love, no strings attached. So let's explain this. Here we are, and we are brought into life with unconditional love. We come in as the purest of pure, and we come into a family that has some stuff because they've already lived. They've already been here. They've already had experiences with fear and ego and yuckiness, right? And we're the light. We come in and we make this contract ahead of time. Like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to have these things go on.
Yeah.
And in order so that I can heal that, here's the generational wounding. So I can help heal that. That's part of my soul's journey, and to expand more light and more love. And somewhere along the line, we totally forget our identity. We forget the pureness of who we are. We forget that it is unconditional. Like, you can, no matter what you do, God is always accepting you back. Always, 100%. Always, always, always. So if we aren't doing that in our relationships, if we aren't accepting and being, all right, here's my compassion. Here's, like, if we can't get to forgiveness, that's where we lean in. We're like, okay, I'm not there yet. God, help me to get there. We start leaning into the possibility of that we can get there, instead of the cutting off, which is I'll never forgive, or I'll never do that. Same thing here with Jack. Like, I'm going to lean into the possibility of releasing control so that he feels my love over my judgment. When he feels that, he's going to take on what he needs to do as a soul, which is show up in life. So you're a director. I think Wayne Dyer said it one of the best ways. I love this way he said it. He's like, helicopter parenting. Like, we hover over, lean in, and try to micromanage and tell them and do all these things. And so they don't get a chance to be the soul they are. And so then they go out into the world and they start tripping up. They don't know. So if you let go of control and you start like allowing them, well, what do you think? How do you feel? And you start allowing them to have access to their soul, to who they really are, to that higher consciousness, then you're teaching them that their purpose isn't to make you happy. Their purpose is what God has asked them to come here to do.
Yeah. Oh, and I've had to undo so much conditioning to get to the place where I am with my kids now, which I'm so grateful for. Because I used to have so much fear in giving them freedom to make decisions and freedom to show their emotions and things like that, because just double-sided, that they would turn into monsters and that I was making a fool of myself for letting them take advantage of me. Both those things.
And right. So now let's bring it full circle into the different areas of your life, right? The marriage, right?
Yep.
Your work. And so family. So these aren't all cohesive, running on the same level of unconditional ease, there's no manipulation, then there's going to be a problem. And that's what stops our abundance.
Yeah.
Living as abundantly you is leaning in all areas, so they're all cohesive, like freedom, 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 freedom.
Okay. So there's this possibility, Janie, there's this possibility that in no area of my life do I need to micromanage people. That's what you're telling me, right?
I am. Yes.
Okay. So I need you to stay here with me for a minute, because in my work, I feel like, yes, I believe there is some truth there. I think there's a little bit of work for me to do with my employees, because one thing that I did a lot in skating was I really tried to bring people along with me, even if they weren't resonant with that position or really able to give back the way I needed them to, being in that role.
Right. You held them accountable you saw the light in them and you wanted them to be there, and they weren't ready to be there.
Okay. What I used to say with athletes and assistant coaches is I fall in love with potential. Mm-hmm. And I've had my heart broken a lot of times by potential, because yes, I see the light in people and I think, oh, if I get right down there and go, hey, let's go together. Right. And I put people on this arm and this arm, let's go. So thank you for saying that they weren't ready, because I see it.
That's a lot of pressure for on the outside. It's a lot of pressure for someone to live up to when they're not ready to do that work. Right. And then we're holding them accountable to, oh, but I see this version of you. And they're like, and this is where the energy doesn't match, right? Because you're coming down your I call this the emotional staircase. You're coming down your emotional staircase and you're like, come up with me. And they're like, but I live here. And you're like, come up with me. But they're like, I live here. And they're trying to show you and tell you, I'm not quite ready. And so once you let go in those areas, in your family, even in your work, all of that, and how you serve, like how you feel people see you on the outside, like all of a sudden everything's going to come into a balance. And they're like, you're all about the checks and balances. Like you really are. Like they're showing me, like, this is like when you feel like out, like something not in order, it's just like coming in, like the seam, like coming back into this internal, like, I am love, I am love, I am love. And that is literally, they said, it's not about like it's not like you're doing it wrong in your parenting. It's like just coming back into the resonance of love is just going to start to help you move through what you need to move through. Okay.
So I feel that I'm like going back like this, and then I'm coming forward almost like with hands that look like claws, like, but okay. So this is interesting. This is interesting because I'm seeing another part of my conditioning that I think I've seen before, but I haven't verbalized. Okay. So it's like, just come into love. And my husband's Greek, comes from a traditional Greek family. And I mean, there's some manipulation there, but the biggest thing I feel from my mother-in-law for her kids is like adoration, like love, like, arapi or agape, how some people say that Greek word for like, the divine love, like the love in a family or for a child, or the love of God, like that really divine love. I feel that. And that I see this kind of energy of my childhood growing up, that like, if you're not hard on kids and pushing them, they're not going to be like good, productive people. Right. And it's like, Jeannie, I could have been dropped off in a forest like as an infant, and as long as like the wolves brought me food, I would be a really I would be a go-getter. Like it's not something that anybody programmed into me, right? That energy is something that comes from a different place. So this loosening, and I have been loosening like for a few years. I told anybody who would listen that Jack's grades were none of my business. I had a couple guidance counselors who disagreed. And they were like, Ms. Renard, but we would love to speak with you. And I'm like, you know what? You can actually just speak with my kid, because it's not, one of the things that I love is he's not the perfectionist that I am. And I don't want to put that on him.
Yes. And
I don't want to.
See, you already have it. And so
Yeah.
it's just a matter of bringing the counter butter idea in. How soft can I be here? Of course, you don't want to be melted.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have no boundaries. But if I can allow him to lean in and want to improve in areas without the idea that he has to be perfect, without the idea that I'm going to be disappointed, without the idea that he's going to start building a legacy of this sucks, like this is pain, right? And then like, yeah.
I love that. Okay. So you gave me the counter butter visual in California, but I just felt it in a new way right now. Okay.
Yeah.
When you said
you can look at it like a rope too. Like you can look at it like energy is a rope. Like if we talk about frequency, the frequency you send to your desires, right? That you're manifesting. And if they're knotted up with a belief system that's full of micromanaging energy, there's a knot here, there's a knot here.
Okay. So I have never, that is so helpful too, because I've always thought I can outwork any limitation that's woven into the plan.
And so that's the reason why the desire is so far away.
Yeah.
The outcome is so far away. And it's like all this stuff is in between. And what's in between always is supposed to be love. It's supposed to be like the Holy Spirit. It's supposed to be that, being in the present moment, not being in when that happens, I'm going to be okay or safe.
Okay. And I pictured the counter butter, and you're like, you want to be the counter butter. You don't want to be melted. And I was like, oh my God, you know what I normally do? I stay so hard, like the butter to protect myself. And then when I need to take action, I roar. It's like my fiery disposition comes out.
Because you're gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna fix this now, today. This is not going any further. And then Jeannie, afterwards.
Now you're refrigerator butter. You're actually frozen butter.
When I rage like that, I melted butter. I'm all over the place. I don't even know. It's so hard for me to put myself back together.
You're frozen. You're not even. You're so hard.
So I don't melt at all.
Yeah, you do melt, but there's a difference. When we get melty, is our emotions are leaking out. There's more like we're wishy-washy. We don't know what we're doing. There's no form to us. There's no rules. It's a little different. You're not like that. Okay. You get frozen, and your frozen is your rigidness of like perfectionism. It's like, it has to be my way or the highway. Things have to get done, and like solutions and like problem solving. And it's like you get on it like white on rice. Like you're there instead of softness, ease, letting it come to you, through you, and then like all of a sudden, like, and your answers drop in. Like, this is how spirit will guide you. Like everything comes in because you are a soul, and your soul is infinite, and you're meant to have this infinite huge holy experience. And
this is making me giggle. This is really making me giggle, because I'm remembering how much I love that feeling of like looking out over, because I had teams, right, of 40, 60, 100 people, and everybody, all their eyes on me, Jeannie. And I would say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I would outline the plan. You know what I would say first, Jeannie? I would say, when I say go, this is what we're going to do. And I would outline the plan, and I would take a beat, and then I would say, go. And everybody would stand up. Everyone would move into formation. Oh, Jeannie. I love that mobilization energy. And it feels so good and so light when I describe that scenario. But when I look at baskets of laundry around the house, and I'm like, everyone, come here. These are the things that need to be done. Blah, 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 blah. Go. And then they look at me and they're like,
we're not your performer.
Okay. We're not your puppets. And they sort of like, okay, I'm flopping around right now. They kind of like skulk over, like, right? I'm like, I'm trying to recreate that feeling that felt so great and so clean and so just like resonant on the ice, right? Because I wasn't telling all these skaters to go fold laundry. I was telling them to like, okay, these are the things we're going to do to become like better as a team today.
Right.
That is just so funny because I'm looking for that same feeling, that same sort of like high from it, but it doesn't deliver. It doesn't really deliver at home.
Right. Right. All right. So let's wrap up full circle.
Okay.
Because this is like a lot, but I feel like what we touched on is like this is so going to be so good for so many women, like letting go of the control and leaning more in with love and feeling your body can guide you, like not your head. Drop into your heart, or your body can't lie. Yeah. So putting your hand on your heart and on your belly and just like literally asking, like, did Jack do it on purpose? Did he take the bag to be mean and hateful, to be some sociopathic narcissist? Or did he just show up as a tired teenager, exhausted, and just was like, not even thinking it through? Your body can tell. He just doesn't care.
That's the bag I want. And there it is.
Exactly. And so your body knows, like, pausing between your days and your actions to feel will get you out of the conditioning of the do. And we can all take that in, like leaning in. Leaning in. Thank you for like sharing and being so intimate with us. Can you tell everybody just where they can find you and hook up into your goodness and get into the party of Ashleigh?
Get into the party. Come for the counter butter. Okay. I'm Ashleigh Renard on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And Ashleigh has lots of extra letters. ASHLEIGH. And then Renard, RENARD. It's French for fox, but I say it the most non-French way possible. Renard.
Beautiful. Thank you for showing up, really just opening up and allowing us in. Like that, that is a brilliant thing. And it's not an easy thing to do. So I want to just say, like, thank you and congratulations for letting go of some stickiness today.
I am so excited to see how this integrates and plays out. Jeannie, I'm so grateful I got to connect with you before Jack comes home from school this afternoon. Right? Because I've got an opportunity. Yeah, I've got an opportunity here to really act out of love instead of fear. Because actually the skin on my back just like tensed up a bit. And I was like, no, it's actually, we're all okay here. It's all safe.
Yeah. And just keep doing this, like when you're around and because it's the quickest way to break that old habit is to feel it out, because then you're tapping in and you know this. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Mwah. Love you.
Love you. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right, my love. I hope you enjoyed that. I told you were going to love Ashleigh, right? She's so amazing. And you're amazing. And you're ready to step into your perfect life. So the Angel Healer training starts October 4th. Links are below the podcast so you can check out all of the yumminess that I have to offer inside of this amazing, amazing program. And if you want to know more and you want to have some more fun with me, check out my Abundantly You free week-long training that I'm doing inside the Angels Don't Lie Facebook group on Facebook, obviously. And you don't have to do anything but just show up. Just show up every day and receive. That's what it's about. So thank you again for being you, for tuning in. Remember, I know what I know because angels don't lie and God loves you. You are so loved. Have a blessed day.